right, so we decided we're not going to play cat videos today. We're going to have lots of fun with you guys. We have I can't even pronounce her name yet. I let Azura from Superman, Man of Steel on today. We're going to find out how to pronounce her name correctly because I'm just horrible with that. Plus, we're going to be talking all things superhero movies, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything that is in between. Plus, we have some 10 things list, a fun review of the internship with Sarah and myself. And of course, Chris, Rachel, and me are going to have all sorts of fun with you guys. So stay tuned for this episode of Fanservice. So that was custom Lego minifigures with fine clone ears.
He was great. Honestly, you don't get to see more than a tiny fraction of the stuff he's made. It was just beautiful, and the kids were so excited about all of it.
Yeah, I've seen his work before. One of the producers in the booth is obsessed with Legos. He loved that dude, so it was fun. So joining us now on phone is Lance, one of our other Fanboy TV crew members, because we're doing this whole superhero movie dilemma because, let's face it, we all love superhero movies, but outside of the Avengers, which
even with the Avengers
left something to be desired, they don't really seem to capture the feel of the comic books. And
well, here's my thing.
Okay.
I can forgive it if it's a big dumb movie with lots of explosions, like with the Avengers. The plot, I'm sorry, you could drive the Starship Enterprise through the size of those giant plot holes, but you didn't really care because it was witty, it was full of quips, you got to see individual moments with your favorite characters doing something super clever because, you know, Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
And that,
awesome.
and big explosions and big special effects. And if you have all that, you can write off the like, oh, whatever, stuff Loki does doesn't make any sense, whatever. Can't plug a giant hole in space. Wait, what? Why is that even a problem? I mean...
Yeah. Or the fact that S.H.I.E.L.D. that knows every... Anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Lance, can you hear us? Can we hear you?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so we're talking about the problems with superhero movies. I mean, sometimes they get really close, like Avengers and Spider-Man 2. And then you get ones like Daredevil and the Fantastic Four, and you're like, what happened? Why is it Hollywood cannot seem to make a decent live-action movie?
Well, they can now. What they needed, obviously, was Joss Whedon, which I think has helped a bunch. But I feel like the ones that really turned the corner, X-Men. The very first of the new X-Men films, I went into that expecting it to be like Daredevil or the horrible, horrible things you mentioned, Fantastic Four. I was really afraid it was going to be like Fantastic Four. And then they got the actor I had mentally cast in the privacy of my head, Patrick Stewart, who has been meant to play Xavier in the role. He was so good with that. Even though Hugh Jackman's like 6 feet tall, he looks perfect for it. Just scale him down. You're doing fine.
Yeah. So, Lance, what are your thoughts?
Well, that's fine. I mean, I have to agree with that, but a lot of it just comes down to what makes any movie good or bad. It's getting a right writer, with a right cast, with a right director. The special effects are there. We can make anything now happen, but it's all the rest of it still needs to come together to make it a good story.
But there is an issue for why it doesn't come together. I mean, for example, there have been 3 iterations of the Hulk now. The Ang Lee version, seriously, dude, you obviously did not want to make a Superman movie or a Hulk movie, a superhero movie of any sort.
That was just a train wreck. I don't even acknowledge it exists.
And the Hulk is a great character. You can do so much with the Hulk. I was
Proven in the
amazed
Avengers.
how much they could mess up a character like the Hulk.
Well, the other thing I have is, you know, when you talk about things coming together, it really works in some of the animated movies, like the Doctor Strange animated movie is fantastic.
Really?
All the DC animated
I just can't imagine Doctor Strange coming across as fantastic.
No, and because they have that canvas, they can do whatever they want. You can do that in a live-action movie. Granted, it costs some money. But let's face it, superheroes are a hot property. Why wouldn't you want to put the money behind it?
Well, there's also the whole issue of the look with it. Like, a lot of the looks, I'm going to pick on Doctor Strange for a second, trying to make that look good in live action with that giant Ming the Merciless sort of headdress thing
Well, no, because as horrible as the Spawn movie was, when he was Spawn with his cape out, it worked.
I still don't know that you're going to be able to pull off that Doctor Strange cape and the blue suit and everything.
I think you would be able to do it just fine. Lance?
I hear her, but she's right about the look. I mean, look what X-Men. They didn't pull in Wolverine's famous yellow and blue costume because in the live action it would look pretty silly. You accept it in a cartoon or in a comic book, but there's more expectations. So that's usually more meant for
exactly. That's
basically
why
for
they went with the
children.
black leather.
Which you bring up a point there. The tights didn't work there, but why does it work for Superman? Why does it work for Spider-Man?
Well,
Why does it work for the other ones?
wait. In both cases, with Superman and Spider-Man, they didn't really go with tights. I mean, yes, they're wearing something that is clinging to their body, but they texturized it to a point where both of them honestly look like they're wearing tires.
I won't give you that much, especially the
And so they're
Superman
getting away
suit.
from tights by even though they're wearing something that is skin tight, there's so much texture on it, it doesn't look like you just flash danced in from the 80s in your tights for your superhero costume.
Flash. Whoa. I've been singing random songs. So yeah, and you're right. The really good ones have massive major plot holes.
I know. And we're willing to
blow
forgive
stuff up.
it if it's a big dumb movie. That's where the third Batman went wrong. The third Batman had massive plot holes in it, but it wasn't a big dumb movie. It was a very dire, grim movie that you were supposed to just ignore all the things that were wrong with it, really?
But at least they didn't do fat, stupid, let's get on short bus wrestler Bane. They did a decent
Yeah.
Bane. You have to give them that much. Am I right, Lance?
Agreed.
Really?
Yeah, and
Bane was not one of my favorite characters. And they telegraphed so badly. They're like, oh, I'm the sweet, adorable thing that oh my
well,
goodness.
they
Did you
tried
know?
to do something
Did
right.
you know they have excellent medical care in prisons that are a hole in the ground? You don't need to go to an actual doctor. You can have your entire spine fixed just by an old guy hitting you.
Plot holes. But, that's the problem. A lot of these superhero movies seem to, hey, we're going to, like the Fantastic Four movie.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just start with that one to begin with. Did this dude ever look at Fantastic
No,
Four?
I don't
Johnny
think
Storm
they
is
did.
blonde because there's a whole blonde joke system goes on. And Doctor Doom is not some skinny GQ model, okay? And people give these people money to make crap.
Here's the
I
thing.
don't get it.
I think what the problem is with that is, up until very recently, up until the first of the X-Men movies, they were trying to find some way to make all the movies mainstream because geek had not become popular yet. At this point, being a geek is in no way subversive. It is in no way anything but mainstream because video games and popular movies have just made that part of normal life. 10 whole years ago, it wasn't. And so all the movies were like, oh, we're going to make 27 cents off of this. We don't even care. Maybe if we modernize it, we might get somebody else to come in. So I think they were coming at it with this attitude of, we can't pay attention to the original source material.
So what's the excuse now? Because,
Hollywood is the problem.
like
Hollywood
First Class
will
was
always
awesome.
be the problem.
And they're doing Days of Future Past,
Which
but I'm afraid...
I hope it's good.
I'm afraid people are going to be like, what? Because they're taking a very well-known story and they're going to have to commercialize it.
But people like dark. And
Yes.
Days of Future Past is dark with a side of grim. I mean, that's a dark, dark storyline. And I think that'll play really well. I mean, look at what they're doing with Superman. They've decided to take the most white bread, wholesome character who I
White
don't think...
bread? He is a Boy Scout, I'll give you
Superman?
that much, yeah.
How is Superman not a white bread, wholesome character?
He is.
That's kind of his shtick, is he is the most Superman... I mean, really?
Yeah.
So, but they've decided they've got to give him a dark side too, because everybody has to have a dark side this decade.
Well, I think that makes it approachable, because they're not perfect celluloid on screen. They have problems like Peter Parker. That's why he's one of my favorite superheroes, Spider-Man, because he has problems. He's just like everybody else, and he's approachable.
But Peter Parker, I mean, part of the thing with Peter Parker was he was always funny, which is something they didn't have as much of in the movies, which, well, the Sam Raimi ones in general did. But you
Yeah,
like
the
Peter
new one was
Parker
different.
because he also has teenage problems that more people can relate to. But 38-year-old Peter Parker is probably not going to be as interesting. 45-year-old Peter Parker with a mortgage, is anybody really tuning in for that?
Yeah. So that's our thoughts on this whole superhero dilemma. Any last thoughts, Lance?
Well, I have to agree with that, but I think that what they're trying to do is definitely put more of a human face in. Let's face it, your Superman has the original, he's basically a Boy Scout raised in Kansas, basically finds out his powers, and basically immediately jumps to the decision, I'm going to be a superhero. I think this movie's going to follow more of him deciding what to do with it. I mean, Gavin, if you woke up tomorrow with all those powers,
You'd
would
all
you
be
immediately think I'm
screwed.
being a superhero?
Tell me right now, this will be screwed.
I'm just saying, if I woke up tomorrow with all those powers, my dream home would be a lair at the base of an extinct volcano.